What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Urban Nerd. This channel will get my nerd views on today's nerd news, and this is a video about something we've all probably seen. This is about, you know, the everyone's seen the Sony's live stream event, right? Everyone's seen that thing, and if you haven't seen it, well, it kind of went a little something like this. Oh, Microsoft. Oh, you're having yourself a streaming event? Oh, well, hold on for a second. Hold my beer.
Watch me go.
You, me, together, we were destined for something great. How?
Yes, that's pretty much how that went down, because Microsoft, they've already lost before they won. But they've lost before they've even started. And I'm not trying to bash on the Xbox, because I believe the Xbox Series X, which is a horrible name still, I believe it's going to do pretty well. But as far as overtaking and coming from behind and stealing what PlayStation has done, I'm sorry, it's not happening. And the reason being is because the PlayStation 5 has way too much going for it as of right now. So I wanted to actually talk real quick about how sexy this is. I know you're gonna see this jump, but the PlayStation 5 is sexy. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone thinks. That thing is sleek. It looks like that. The whole console and the controller looks like that was the BMW i8. That thing is sexy. That car alone, that thing's sexy, and I think that's what it is. And if you look closely, that's a V. That stands for the PlayStation 5. So people are missing these little subtle notes on why they designed it this way. I think with the vents on the top to streamline with the airflow, the sleek design, that thing is sexy, and I'm gonna want some of that. I'm gonna want some of that PlayStation 5 sexiness. So that's pretty much what I think about that. So we're gonna start off with pretty much the features that I think is gonna pretty much be the game changer for this, right? First off, you got the Sony PlayStation 5, right? This PlayStation 5 has this thing called 3D audio, right? And if you don't know what the 3D audio is, pretty much like it's gonna work best when you get these Pulse 3D audio headset. And what it is, it's gonna be like Dolby Digital Surround Sound. Think of it as a Dolby Digital Surround Sound on your head, or built into the system of the PlayStation, right? So if you have like an audio surround sound system, when you're playing your games, you're gonna be able to hear footsteps from behind you. Like if you're playing Rainbow Six Siege, or like if you're playing like Last of Us or whatever, you'll be able to actually hear and pinpoint exactly where enemies are just off of the sound alone. Like if you close your eyes, you'll be able to literally just be like, oh, you hear it from there to the left a little, to the right behind you, people trying to sneak up on you, you'll be able to hear everything. And that right there, like a built-in Dolby Digital Surround Sound, it's gonna be something great. But what's really gonna take you really good usage of that also is the controller. This controller, right? The DualSense controller. First off, we all know it comes with the built-in mic, built-in speaker, the headphone jack, the DualSense Touch. It's got haptic feedback, which is pretty much like what your phone has when you touch the screen, the feedback you get from it. And it's actually more control too, so depends on what you do. Like say for instance, you're driving, right? When you're driving, you'll be able to feel when it's on regular road, like a paved road, going to a gravel road, going to off-road. You'll be able to feel all of that, because it isn't like the regular the DualShock controller, the vibrations. It's multiple things, so you're gonna get more feedback into it. And then on top of that, you got the adaptive resistive triggers, right? And that people don't really understand what that is, but it's pretty much like depending on what you do with the trigger, you'll be able to like feel the tension. Like say if you're pulling a bow, you'll feel the tension of the trigger getting a little bit tighter as you pull. The harder it's going to be, or the sensitivity of when you're pulling the triggers on how hard you want it to be. Like you want it to be like a light jab or whatever. Like maybe Fight Night come back, and then these little things you'll be able to do light jab just off a light touch, or if a hard one, boom, like a dolo shot. Like that's what I'm thinking that this could be. Then you've got like I said, with the haptic feedback, you could feel rain, and I'm just saying rain. You would be able to feel individual raindrops, and then with it coming from the speaker on the controller, it'll feel like it's right in front of you. And then especially if you have the headset on, it's gonna blow your mind, right? And with the console, you got these additional things you could get. You could get like the Pulse headphones. You can get the dual controller charger, which looks awesome. You know what I'm saying? The 3D, well, the Sony HD camera, and you know it comes with you got two versions of sorry, I'm saying too much. You got two versions of the console itself. You've got the regular one with the 4K HD disk drive, and you've got one without it, which is going to be the digital version, the digital edition, right? Which I think is probably going to make it so that they have two different price points they can go to. Whether, I don't know, I'm thinking it's probably going to be I've seen people say $449 to $499, which would be something, but I don't know, because I doubt they're gonna want to go into the for the final thing as far as $550. That's too close to $600, and they really got hit bad when they did the PlayStation 3 coming out at $599, at $600. No, so I think the highest one is gonna be $499. I think they might do $399 for the digital edition. Like they'll take a whole $100, and they're probably gonna take the hit because the more they get the console into people's houses, the more people are gonna be talking, and then you as a friend, you're gonna want to get the console that your friends have, so people are gonna go and get that, which I think that's a brilliant idea because that's what's gonna happen. Now, as far as sound, like how it's gonna sound, because this thing is a beast, and people think it's gonna be loud as hell, which I don't think so, because they spent a lot of money in a cooling system, right? Just like you got your gaming PCs, they've spent a lot of money on these cooling systems as well. That's what actually, if you look closely at the PS5, right? If you look where it's black in between, they have like the blue lighting. There's vents going along the whole top, going to the side. Don't know if it's going along to the front as well, but I think that it's going to keep itself cool. We all haven't seen the back yet, which is not going to be too much, because on the front it has a USB drive and a USB-C drive, so you can plug in your things, like extra photos, or if whatever you want to add to it. I don't know, maybe you'll be able to do like a Fire Stick. I don't know if PlayStation is going to go that far into it, like you can add attachments from other media systems, which I highly doubt, because I think with PSN they probably might spend that extra money and go a little bit harder, like what Xbox tried to do with the Xbox One, I believe, and go a lot with the media. PlayStation, they're being smart, because what the Xbox have, sure, it has like teraflops, it has more teraflops, but the PlayStation focused on immersion, right? And that's what I think is gonna kill it, because they're doing smart things like what Nintendo used to do with the Wii. People didn't think the Wii was gonna be good, but once people got the Wii in hand, the whole thing, it blew up, because it was something different. It was more of immersion. You're actually trying, you're actually hitting with the tennis racket. And then PlayStation tried it with those PlayStation I don't know, whatever those controller things are, where it was like the 3D, but it didn't work so much. But I think with the DualSense, along with the 3D audio, the haptic feedback, and resistive triggers, that immersion itself is going to blow people's minds, and I think that is going to take or change the game itself. As far as the games, everyone's thinking about the backwards compatible of the Xbox. I think Sony might do that. I think they're waiting for a different time, because this was basically the streaming service was to talk about the games that are coming out, their first party games, you know what I'm saying? Showed a little bit of third party, but their first party game, what you guys people want. They've got a lot more left in their back pocket that they're gonna show us. Probably later down the road, maybe September, I believe, Like I think that's when usually the Tokyo Game Show would happen. So I don't know if they're gonna stream something else around that time, but I believe they're gonna do backwards compatibility, and they've already talked about it. They've talked about it like they're pretty much the PlayStation 4, the main games. That's what we're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna go back to PlayStation 3. I would like them to try, because there's some games that aren't on the PS4 that were on the PS3 that I would love to see if they up-res it, like the Split Second. I talked about in my video all the way at the end. I think Split Second, the game developed by Disney, is one of the best racing games that people never heard of, right? And that game, if they up-resed it and got the frames per second, I think it'll be awesome addition to the PlayStation 5. Now, if they got either up-resed it or got a whole new sequel, that'd be amazing to me because I want it. But at the same time, I think that PlayStation's taking their time with their information, and they are going to do backwards compatible for a good amount of games because they're testing it to see how it's best gonna maximize the features. The Xbox, that's their whole thing. They're so focused on hard drive. They're we got to store more teraflops, and we're backwards compatible all the way back to the original Xbox. Yes, that's good and all, but the Xbox One already kind of does that. So what are you offering that's new, really? You're offering a new system that's backwards compatible with all the old games, but what games are you coming at? Because they haven't really shown us any first-party games that they're going to be coming at us with. They're probably going to do it later down the road, because the event that they had, which really, it didn't do very well for them, but I believe they are going to show some first-party, but they don't have that much. They've got Halo Infinite, right? Halo Infinite, what else do they have? I really don't know. I'm not a really Xbox person, so I'm not bashing on them, but I don't believe they're going into this with as much of an open mind as PlayStation is, and I think that's why PlayStation's gonna take it. So that's pretty much my idea, or my thoughts on the PlayStation 5. Giving you all the information that I know of, the 3D audio, haptic feedback, resistive triggers, the Pulse headphones is gonna be awesome. I'm definitely, I never really get the PlayStation headphones, but I think I might spend that money because I want to have the full immersion of this new console. And that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, then remember to like down below or comment down below, like this video, share it, tell people about this thing, because I went in trying to do this research and there's still not that much information about this. But if you guys want, comment, let me know, and we'll talk more about it. Remember to subscribe. Check out my last video of Nerd News. Check out my last playlist of Nerd News. Remember, I'm Wes Grant. You've been watching Sub Urban Nerd, and you've just been nerdified. Roll us out, PlayStation. Bang!
You, me, together, we were destined for something great.